Okay, so today is March 19th, 2026, Thursday. This is day two, part three of a three-part video collection. So I talked about me being away for a bit in one of my earlier videos. I give personal story. Just, you might find it interesting. And I talked a little bit about the conflict in Iran. Which is a war crimes campaign on the behalf of the United States and is not real. And now I want to get to the part about kind of where I'm at with MAGA. So it's kind of this, many things can be true at once. Like I'm of a complex mind on Americans that support Republicans and Donald Trump. I cannot stand, and I do not accept their support of Republicans and Donald J. Trump, because they are dangerous. They have proven that over and over and over again. They have proven that they're bad for America. They're bad for the world, for a whole long list of reasons. But when you have people that continue to support a regime that's engaged in, aiding and abetting a continuation of a genocide in Gaza, new genocides in Lebanon and elsewhere, this mass atrocity and war crimes campaign in Iran, which is also undermining the entire global economy. And also, like, to be honest, like, it's kind of a bit of a suicide pact for America and Israel. And there are no really good actors in this situation. And it's drawing in the entire Middle East. And then you have what ICE has been doing. MAGA will continue to lie to themselves and us claiming that this has anything to do with immigration enforcement. It is not. It is clear to anyone with a functioning brain, observing what's happening. It's mass crimes. It's ethnic cleansing. It's a fear campaign. It is setting up a variety of different things that are highly problematic. Like they're buying warehouses all over the place that are and will be concentration camps. I don't know if they'll be that kind of camp, but we already have had people in ICE custody. We have reports of people being raped, and women are being forced to carry and have their ICE rapists' baby in Texas. And then who knows what happens to them after that. Given everything that we've learned in the Epstein files, I don't even want to think about what's happening there. We have people, reports of torture. We have unlawful detentions. We have something like 2,500 to 3,000 United States citizens that have been unlawfully detained and held by ICE. And that's just what we know. These people are mass agents. We have never had that. They do not identify themselves. They have shot people in the street. We have it in 4K of just outright murder of American citizens practicing their First Amendment rights, who pose no threat whatsoever, and they have no authorization at all to do what they're doing. Republicans will cling to the idea of expedited removals, but that's under the assumption that any of this is done in a lawful way. And it appears just at face value that is not what's happening. These are not, they're not grabbing dangerous people. They're not grabbing people that have final removal orders. They're just grabbing people up off the street. They're grabbing dissenters. They have used chemical weapons on American citizens, some of which cause nerve damage that's permanent. And on and on and on it goes. Like, our entire administrative state is under attack. They are trying to completely dismantle our education system, our healthcare system. They are committing mass waste, fraud, and abuse of our tax dollars. And they are trying to use our military against us. ICE is the largest paramilitary force. It's funded in ways that exceed other nations' entire militaries. It is the largest funded paramilitary force above, like, I think even like the Marines. It's insane. And it's only like 20,000 agents who apparently have horrific morale because they're hated. They know that they're not doing the jobs that, especially the ones who have been there before the Trump administration came into power this time around. And they understand that, like, the things that they were originally supposed to be doing, that they signed up for, like, they wanted to go after people that are sex pests, that people that are violent, people that shouldn't be here, people that most American citizens would say, yeah, like, if somebody is here that's dangerous, that doesn't have proper documentation to be here, go through the court process, give them due process, and then if the judge says send them back to their home country, that's what the law says. But that is not what's been happening. They've been warehousing people for profit. So we pay so much more every single time one of these things happens. And so many times now, it's been innocent people, many people that have been rendered, in limbo because Trump ended, the TPS program and a variety of other things. They've made entire other groups effectively eligible for removal here. And it's just like nonstop international, like, crimes against international law. Like, collective punishment is not, it's not ethical, it's not moral, it's not legal. Like, you can't just say because there was, a handful of Somali people that, led by some white MAGA woman that committed fraud, that you send all Somali people home. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you have a Somali population of, I don't know how many, 100,000 in Minnesota. I think it's like 200,000 or 300,000 or something like that. And there was, or maybe more, and maybe, 4,500 or I forget what the numbers are, but it's like maybe 1%, if that, of that population that's there. People that are Americans, they're legal citizens. So you're gonna say that they all have to go because of people that committed fraud, which we have the law. Those people were prosecuted already, and they went through their whole sentencing process. Like, that's not how this stuff is supposed to work. You don't just sit there and say that all groups are eligible for removal. Like, if we follow that standard, you know who would be eligible for deportation almost immediately in this country? Men in America. Basically all men. A whole lot of white men. A whole lot of white men commit the vast majority of crimes against women, children, and other men. Like, if you're going to follow that logic, like, we would just deport the men. Does that make any sense to you? Because a certain percentage of the men have committed crimes, but then you're going to deport all men. Or if we're talking about people that have committed crimes against children and other, and most Americans, you would be getting rid of Republicans in America. You'd be getting rid of basically all Republicans. Does that make sense to you? That's the logic that we're dealing with here. So the people that support this stuff, the complete destruction of America, they stole all of our sensitive information when Doge went in there to protect Elon Musk and cover up for his crimes. And also so, Palantir could more effectively target all of us for a variety of different things. They're going after our ability to vote and have any sort of say or voice, because democracy is inconvenient for disgustingly rich, powerful pedophiles like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and Donald J. Trump and Mark Andreessen. Like, the problem is the Epstein pedo class, but that's who MAGA effectively defends. So I don't think I have any appreciation for these people that continue to support this stuff. The problem I have is our media information system is garbage. Education in all the red states is garbage. And our media has failed us. Right-wing media is just a straight up propaganda, misinformation, disinformation. They've normalized very fascist talking points. And to be honest, we get that from the establishment Democratic Party too. Like, they have gone along with the genocide in Gaza. It got as bad as it did under Biden. And it's a mess. And we've been taught to hate each other thanks to a bunch of stupid culture wars, stuff that comes from people like Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein himself to, influence the whole manosphere thing and, make the right really hate educated people that could actually help them. Like, we all share the same spaces. We all need the same resources effectively. And we would all be better off working together. But if you put us against each other, we're not talking and we're not listening, and we can't unify and fix this problem that we have. And the reality is it's the 0.01% against the rest of us. And like, I'll have difficulty ever forgiving MAGA for what they've done to this country. And I won't accept their lies and delusions about people like me. I'll never do that. However, for the ones that start to actually wake up and the ones that actually do things to change things for the better, like if they get out there and they start organizing and they start fighting the good fight, I'll recognize that. I will give them credit for admitting they screwed up. And I'll give them time and space to heal from the harms, and I'll be watchful that they might just fall back into it, because that's what happens with cults, basically. Like, these people come from abusive homes, authoritarian people, live in a state of fear. They have normalized humiliation, and they constantly seek direction from people with who they perceive as having more authority. That's why they get duped more easily than people on the left. People that are very, not necessarily dismissive of authority, but unless those people are actually like pursuing just causes and engaging in just actions, and their goals match what they're doing and the outcomes match up with what they say they're trying to do. Like, I expect people to prove it when they say, this is a problem, this is how I'm going to fix it, and this is why we're pursuing this path, and it's actually an ethical thing. And they have to reach to something that's actually likely to get fruitful results. There's evidence based practice behind it. That's where I'm coming from with that kind of stuff. So I'm very angry with what MAGA has become and what they've done to this country and done to the world ultimately. And I'm tired of how dangerous they've allowed themselves to be, and they have the nerve to call themselves an American. Like, for some of them, I kind of feel like their citizenship should be downgraded in a very significant way, at least socially, until they show that they are going to be part of the solutions going forward. And I don't know how we do that. And I think I would prefer people get an education that's practical, for them to understand the different ways that they became brainwashed and the things that influence their behavior, and teach them ways to change. Like, I think, what I would suggest to any person that is in MAGA, that's leaving MAGA, once you kind of deal with the fallout of leaving and the psychological consequences of that, I would suggest maybe you see like a cognitive behavior therapist, and also get into groups with people that have left cults. I think those are probably the two pathways. And then make friends to the best of your ability with people that are actually on the left, and you can tell the difference between actual leftists and the people that you thought were left by the people that support people like Zoran Mamdani and Graham Plattner, and people that talk positively about the systems like socialism and communism, and they point to real life examples like China. Like, I see the evidence of pulling 800 million people out of poverty, and having like sustainable green energy. Not all of it, obviously, but there's like real life things that happened with China that they didn't accomplish through violence. They used state power to do things that benefited all of their citizens, and they checked power all the time of billionaires and business people that want to undermine what the government does so they can have more power and they can have more ability to do things that they want to do that are not necessarily good for the citizens, but are good for them. They check them. And that's not what happens here. We had our whole system completely compromised by a handful of billionaires that basically took an election and got Donald J. Trump elected, and they're harming all of us. And our entire system is teetering because it's built on a Ponzi scheme. The petrodollar is a Ponzi scheme. All this investment in AI is a Ponzi scheme. That bubble's going to burst. I don't think these companies have any ability to deliver what they claim they can. They are disrupting everything, but in ways that I don't think they've anticipated. I think we're ready for an actual like socialist revolution in this country. Not necessarily a communist one, because that's like something that's never really happened, and full socialism has never really happened. You have to have capitalism first. What we're talking about is giving people power, more democracy, people controlling the means of production, or getting close to that, like socially democratic practices, or democratic socialism is a good transition step, probably. And just a lot of Americans just don't understand the stuff because they didn't learn it, and the things that they learned were against it, against these ideas. They're taught to fear these ideas. But what it means is, like, we have more power over our life and we get more for what we do. And it's not saying we're trying to get everything for free. That's never been what it was. It's just the baseline for what everybody should get. The basic standards should be available for everybody. Just as being a part of a functioning society. Guaranteed housing, healthcare, good education, food, mass transit, walkable cities, or small towns, things like that. Free time, way more free time, more free time for your family, and then the ability to pursue what you want because you want to, not because you have to. Like, we're locked into a bad system. We're just saying we want to change that. Instead of all the bloodshed, we spend our money on investing in the country instead of a handful of billionaires just taking everything. It's not unreasonable. And you should want that too. You should want good for everybody. I gotta go.